News Radio, WRVA. It is a Tuesday afternoon. Thanks again to Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears. I love Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears. What can I tell you? I think she's doing a hell of a job. And she's got a new book out. You can check it out on Amazon. You know what? Forget Amazon. I'm going to have my social media director, PJ Morrissey, put it up in the Jeff Katz book club. You find that at thejeffkatzshow.com, and then that way you just avoid all of the other nonsense. We've got races. Man, we're just about ready to start early voting. It sounds crazy, right? We just had Labor Day, but it's coming up, a couple of weeks. House of Delegates, State Senate, but the Commonwealth's attorney races in our area, very, very important and really different ideas, especially in Henrico County. You have the incumbent, Shannon Taylor, who, once again, I will tell you, anytime I've dealt with her, I thought she was professional and polite. But you and I both know she's really running for Attorney General as a Democrat. That's what she's trying to do. And her views of law enforcement and the criminal justice system are so skewed and out of touch with reality. God, it's ridiculous. Now, there's another Shannon who is also running for Commonwealth's attorney. This Shannon is running against the other Shannon, and this Shannon, let me tell you something, has a story, a life of accomplishments that's just amazing. I'm so happy to welcome Shannon Dillon to the program. Shannon, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it.
I want you, if you don't mind, share with everybody your story. Goodness gracious, not just coming through school, but your service to the nation as a JAG with the United States Navy. It's compelling.
I've been incredibly fortunate growing up outside of Washington, D.C. I got to see how the government ran, but leaving undergraduate, I went to law school at Florida State, interned with United States Navy my first summer. I left the Navy as a lieutenant commander, but during my tenure there, I was the battle JAG for the Expeditionary Strike Group, Task Force 51. While there, I was also a special assistant United States attorney prosecuting about 1,200 cases a year. I did a stint in Henrico County as an assistant Commonwealth attorney. And then about 15 and a half years ago, I opened up a private practice. I was a defense attorney for 15 and a half years, specializing in violent crime. And in May of this year, I decided to take the position as the deputy Commonwealth attorney in Caroline County. And so I've been enjoying a little bit slower pace, but certainly enjoying being on the side that I started on.
Well, it's inspiring, but I've also got to ask you, Shannon, because you got a good position, you're settled, everything seems fine, a little slower pace, and then you say, oh, by the way, I really have got to run and fix the Henrico County Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. Anybody saying, what are you doing? My God, stay where you are. It's nice and easy.
You know, it's funny that you asked that because, my husband actually asked that question. When I was approached by the GOP to run in this particular election, the first response was, why would I do that? I've had my business for 15 years. Everything is set in stone. But I have to tell you, watching how things have changed and seeing how much the county has changed since I moved here 17 years ago, I was compelled to say, you know what, we need to do it better. Our county deserves better. I think more innovative ideas. I've been on both sides of the aisle, so I know exactly what I think we need to do. And I think the other thing is, too, is I have relationships with schools and law enforcement that my opponent doesn't have, partly because I have spent 16 years developing and nurturing those relationships. And I think that at the end of the day, they trust me when I say this is what we need to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shannon Dillon is joining us. Shannon is running for Commonwealth's attorney in Henrico County. Let me give everybody the website, Dillon4CA.com. Dillon, D-I-L-L-O-N, Dillon4CAA.com.
Actually, Jeff, it's Dillon4Henrico.com.
Oh, Okay, even better. All right, Dillon for Henrico. I'm looking at my address. I can't read my notes anyway. I'm sorry. So, DillonForHenrico.com. So, see, Shannon, you've already fixed one huge error that has occurred. Tell me about some of the mistakes that are happening inside the Henrico County CA's office. And I'm going to share with you, and I don't know your perspective, but I will tell you, with so many friends in law enforcement, they really feel that the Commonwealth's attorney, the current Commonwealth's attorney, Ms. Taylor, she's just not interested in enforcing the law.
I would hope that is not her position, but it certainly is what is appearing when you walk into a courtroom. Yes. So what will end up happening is, obviously, the Commonwealth Office doesn't get involved until there's an arrest and charges are placed. The really sad aspect of all of this is, having been a prosecutor and then a defense attorney and now a prosecutor, it's really incumbent on the prosecutor to be familiar with their cases. And when they're not looking at their cases, when they're not speaking to the officers, when they're not saying, hey, we might have a problem with this, we might need to fix this, because they've looked at it more than the day before, those issues can be resolved. What ends up happening is they're looking at the cases the night before. You can't fix the problem, so then you deal out the problem. Well, the problem with dealing out the cases is a lot of these people are going out and recommitting and reoffending very, very quickly. I mean, we had just between January and July of this year, 4,836 crimes committed in Henrico County. I don't know how you can ask that, the question and then say, well, I just don't know what we're doing wrong. And honestly, what's even scarier is 43% of our criminal behavior is not happening with Henrico residents. It's happening with residents outside of Henrico. So you have to start asking yourself, why do they feel like they can come into our county, commit, offenses and behave badly and then just leave? I think it's because we've given them a license that says nothing's going to happen to you in Henrico County.
Well, I think that is the message. I remind everybody, Shannon Dillon is joining us. DillonForHenrico.com is her website. Shannon is running for the Commonwealth's attorney post in Henrico. And I should point out, endorsed by both the FOP, the Fraternal Order Police in Henrico, as well as the professional firefighters. And I mentioned that to somebody. They said, well, why do firefighters care? And I said, well, because the firefighters have got the fire marshal. They're investigating these things. They're working, at least in theory, with the CA's office, and everybody's coming away with the same sense, as you pointed out, people who are unprepared, it's not staffed properly. The woman who is the Commonwealth's attorney, most of us have been told, is really looking for AG. So where do you start in sending that message to out-of-county residents, hey, we really are going to lock you up and prosecute you if you are locked up?
Well, you start with prosecuting them.
Yep.
Instead of offering deals, and really quite candidly, some deals that have made my stomach churn that I just think are absolutely inappropriate when you have the death of an individual and more specifically an officer in Henrico County, where the deal is that the defendant gets a felony conviction but only serves 60 days of home incarceration. That's offensive. That's offensive to the century. Yes. So it just seems to me that what we need to be doing is saying, you know what, you committed an offense here, we're going to take your gun. We're going to lock you up. We're going to send a message to the localities near us, our sister localities, and say, you can do your bad behavior, but not in Henrico County.
I love it. I hope that the folks of Henrico are paying close attention. Again, DillonForHenrico.com is the website, DillonForHenrico.com. Is there any other way that people should be looking for your positions, maybe even getting a chance to shake your hand and talk about some of this stuff?
Well, we were doing library meet and greets and town halls, and we've had 2 of those. The one this week, unfortunately, has to be canceled because of scheduling conflicts. Okay. But we are going to be at the Glen Allen Days. So if they want to come out and share their thoughts, we are going to have a table, and we will be happy to answer any questions. And then they can also instant message us on the website, and I try to respond as quickly as I possibly can. So we are definitely an open-door policy. We're here for the community. I'm not here looking for a title. I've held lots of titles in my world. Oh, yes, and I don't need any new titles. And what I tell everybody is the best title I ever had was mom.
I hear you. Well, I am so impressed by the accomplishments, and I'm more just sort of taken aback by your willingness to continue to serve, even though, in all candor, you don't have to. You don't owe anybody anything except you're standing up and saying you can do right by the citizens of Henrico County. I love you being here. I hope we'll be able to get you back again as we head into the early voting season.
I look forward to that.
Thank you so much. That is Shannon Dillon. Her accomplishments, I don't have time to list all of them. Go to her website, dillon4henrico.com, dillon4henrico.com. Find out why both the police officers and the firefighters in the county, represented by their associations, are endorsing her and not the incumbent. 544, Jeff Katz, News Radio, WRVA.